Cool, we're here at NFT Fest with Damien from PUMLx, GM.
GM.
How often do you say GM?
Quite a lot, not as much as I should. I joined one of those Twitter GM groups and then everyone gets you to GM every day and then I couldn't keep it up.
You know, there was a GM app where everyone all over the world was sending GM. It shut down last year, but it was a pretty fun kind of experiment thing.
Yeah, not good as a founder when you're trying to build a lot of stuff to spend that much time GMing.
There's a lot of distractions in this space, but you were incredibly early to the space back in
2012.
2012? Tell us a bit about that, because, you know, it was a couple of years after Bitcoin was like born. How did you get into it, and what gave you the conviction to keep building to where you are today?
Well, yeah, it was originally one of my engineers. So I was at Virgin running a small team, and he started talking about Bitcoin, and I just loved it. It was super cool. So I got a miner. I was buying Bitcoin from eBay in the UK. You just send some eBay cash across and get some BTC in return. So it was pretty fun in those early days. But really, no one knew what I was talking about. There was literally no one that I had in my friend group or my community that really understood Bitcoin. So it was hard in those days. Like in hindsight, you think, well, I should have stacked a lot more. But it was sort of like one of those things that I probably didn't stick with until, Ethereum came out, and that's when things sort of started to change, because I love the idea of running code and incentivized networks, and that's where I was like, well, this is really going to go places after Ethereum.
Beautiful. You've now, launched PUMLx. How did you come up with the name PUMLx?
It's a good question. I had like this, my first startup actually when I was in the UK, and I was working all day and then working at night, drinking Red Bull, and I sort of turned into this fat, skinny man, which I'm sort of falling back into now, but I got pretty unhealthy. And as a young guy doing a startup, you just don't have much time for it. And so I eventually had to do something. I started going to the gym, and then me and our mates were like, oh, let's pummel at the gym, go hard. And that's where it originally came from. So it's the idea of like working out, doing a full-on workout. And yeah, that's sort of what we want to build our community around, people who love working out, being healthy, but they also want to own their own data, and they want to make some money for moving.
I love it. So when you think of cryptocurrency and NFT people, the last thing you think of is going outside, touching grass and moving around. What do you think about the physical health of the people in the cryptocurrency markets? Are people active? Are they, exercising each day, or are they just generally behind screens and on Twitter Spaces all day?
Well, I think for me personally, that was me as well. But sometimes you need motivation. You need a group of people. And we talk a lot about you need social pressure. So it's like your friends and family are trying to get you to do something. Or, we started tackling corporate wellness first. That was our first sort of step into the revenue space. And when you got your other employees doing, say, a step challenge or something like that, you're able to, I suppose, make behavioral changes. And so we're all susceptible to sitting on the couch, looking at charts all day. We know we should be exercising, but you need something to sort of get you to that next level.
I love it. Switching it up as well, you got some nice NFTs as well. So you've got a Mutant Ape and a few others as well, Pudgy Penguin, I think. Walk us through, what are you bullish on in the NFT space?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think I've been traveling quite a bit since the borders have opened, and it's been great to see a lot of like NFT NYC was just amazing with Ape Fest, but you started to see a pattern between the projects that are really high quality, clearly not rugs. Invisible Friends were there. We went to some pretty sick parties with Dead Fellas. I'm a big fan of Dead Fellas being a local Australian project as well, but I think you start to get an idea of the quality projects by seeing the IRL events. I'd love to see more of that in the next year.
What are you most excited about in Web3?
Well, it sounds a bit boring, but it's ownership. I still don't think people understand how important it is. This is the future of Web3. It's not just, a PFP. It is around owning your own data, owning your own authentication, and essentially owning your own cash, your digital currency, every digital asset. And that's changing behavior like Web 1 to Web 2 did. You know what I mean? It's going to be a huge thing. It's going to take a while. And I think people won't know it's happening until it's happened.
What's one thing you would improve about Web3?
Well, I suppose it's the bad actors. We don't need to talk much about FTX, but single-handedly they've crushed a whole bunch of like projects or about to launch, and the projects that are launched are having to pick up the pieces for these bad actors, and it just gives people a bad reputation for the whole industry when you have these bad actors. NFT APAC, connect, create, collaborate.
Beautiful.
Done.